Good morning, folks. It's Friday, March 28th. I'm greeting you from the southern Switzerland, from a very, very special place that I'm visiting since 2 days ago. I came here to Val di Blenio. This is the name of this place. It's a valley in the south of Switzerland in the canton of Ticino. A very unusual place. And I'm just starting my day now, going for a walk from my hotel uh, towards towards the upper part of the valley. This place is in the canton of Ticino, which is the Italian-speaking canton of Switzerland, and it's actually a very remote part of this canton. This canton is one of the larger cantons of Switzerland, and of course it's very famous for its southern lakeside resorts, um, like Lugano, Ascona, Locarno, where the film festival is. Uh, it's part of these lakes are part of the chain of southern alpine glacier lakes, or northern Italian alpine lakes, depending on what where you look where you look from, as many of them are actually bordering both countries. Some of them are Lago Maggiore, the Lake of Como, of course, Lake of Lugano. But here we're on the other side of this canton, on the northern part, right where the Alps start. So here, as you can see right behind me and here behind, these are the first parts of the alpine chain that crosses Switzerland, which has a width of more than 60 kilometers. So of course, when the Alps form, actually the peninsula of Italy was pushing from the Mediterranean towards Europe and squeezing the crust of the earth, and this is how the Alps form. So we can say that the Alps are the gift of Italy towards to Europe. So here I'm right at this part where the Italian peninsula squeezed onto Europe and formed the Alps, and this is where this ridge started forming. It's a very interesting region here, because it's actually very isolated from the main communication lines that join the north of Europe and north of Switzerland to Italy. These are the San Gotthard connection, going over actually below those mountains there, and to my back here, the opposing valley is the San Bernardino Valley. So San Gottardo and San Bernardino are the main two valleys that connect, or mountain passes, so to say, because the roads go up to 2000 meters. But this valley actually ends up in a dead end. There's a very small road that crosses it, but it's unusable even at this time of the year, end of March, because probably the snow there is like 4 meters deep. So that makes this valley a bit remote. So I'm walking now. I'm gonna walk all the way to the upper part of the valley, and I'm gonna show you some interesting spots along the way. So it's very early in the morning, 8 o'clock, and of course the sun didn't yet rise over the entire valley, and it's a bit colder. Not very cold. I mean, here always the climate is much milder than in the rest of Switzerland. So probably now it's already 12 degrees, and I mean, for this time of the year, it's a very pleasant temperature. You can walk, just wear a shirt. So I'm gonna now move towards the other side of the valley, which is a bit sunnier. As the sun will rise, the whole valley will be covered will be bathed in the rays of sun. And I wanted to show, as this road that I'm walking is part of a historical trail that is sprinkled with very interesting historical and archaeological uh, points of interest, one of which is this little church here. This little church has an interesting history. I read about it yesterday. So originally this little town, Donju I think it's called, had its church right on the foot of that mountain. And the beginning of the 1800s, there was a natural catastrophe, a landslide, and that landslide covered the entire church and town, led to tens of people dying, and then the whole town moved a bit further down towards the center of the valley, not so protected of the mountains, and this church was rebuilt there. So what's very impressive is that even a small town like this has such artfully decorated and richly decorated church. Catholic, obviously. Very, very beautiful. So here we are in the main square of one of these towns that go along the cantonal road in this valley. It's called Donjo. So these are the typical colors that you would see here in the south of Switzerland. Actually, like, the building codes are very restrictive in Switzerland as to what colors you can paint your houses on. Like, they have to be approved, and if you start painting your house like crazy, like, authorities would come and like make you repaint it. But here in this region, they follow a different type of palette than in the northern Switzerland. It's much more colorful, much more reminiscent of Italy. For instance, these like wooden window blinds are very typical. If you go actually in the north of Italy, in Lombardia, all of them are painted in this dark green. Here I see they allow red and dark green. It's very interesting. These are like small little details that actually give the essence of a region, but for a non-trained eye, you might actually just miss them, and you don't really realize what makes up the character. So here, like a typical window ticinese. It's very nice. Buildings are in very good shape. I mean, this one in particularly not, but most of them have all the comforts, the modern comforts inside. If you go in, also the hotel that I'm staying, it's a perfectly renovated old building in the same style as this one I will show later in the video, with all the modern amenities like floor heating and air conditioning and all these kind of things. So I'm here on the old cantonal road. The new one has been built on the other side of the valley, and this one is no longer in use. This was actually the first cantonal road that was crossing this valley, and was built, I believe, the beginning of the 1800s. So you can see here, you know, like they had to do some reinforcement of this side of the mountain to protect the road. It's not a very wide road, and now it's just used as a touristic trail. And this is actually one of the very interesting things in Switzerland that probably is very uncommon for any other country, that absolutely every town, city, small community is interconnected through a network of walking trails. Walking, biking, in some cases also roller blading, and in this region also accessible wheelchair accessible trails. And this is something that makes Switzerland very walkable, and myself, I generally just prefer to walk, even though there's buses connecting, buses or trains connecting all these little towns, and not only in this valley, but everywhere. It's just so pleasant to walk. So you can walk like 20-30 kilometers. For instance, yesterday I walked 30 kilometers along this valley from the bottom of the valley almost all the way to the higher part of it. And the thing is, it's also very interesting that as you walk between these towns, there's really no bad neighborhoods or bad parts that you need to traverse. I mean, at most you have to cross some, let's say, more industrial regions, but this is small industry, small business, and if possible, these trails generally even avoid those regions, so they're more like scenic trails. This is something very, very special for Switzerland, that there is not this idea that I'm going to be in a land in some dangerous area or in some dangerous neighborhood, or as you go towards the outskirts of a city, town, or even village, like things start to degrade. If anything, as you go towards the outskirts, things start to look better because nature takes over, more residential neighborhoods appear, and another so to say rule of thumb in Switzerland is that the smaller the city, the better quality it is, like the less dangerous, the richer it is, and the more facilities you have. Even here, you know, like I had breakfast in this a small little town that I showed you before, and it was just like a perfect example of a grocery store, one of these big ones that we have all around Switzerland. It's called Coop, with all the services, you know, like from self-checkout, like all the convenience, the price, perfect. You have also banks, ATMs everywhere. So I generally even prefer, I very much prefer smaller communities in Switzerland than the bigger cities. It is the bigger cities that actually become a bit more, let's say, dirty or dangerous or crowded, rather than the smaller communities. So just to, you know, like give an example, I mean, I'm here walking and there are many towns sprinkled across this valley, and I'm right now walking between Acquarosa and Donggio, and you see it's just a very, very calm and pleasant atmosphere. You can hear the birds singing. It's amazing. So here another scene of this old cantonal road, now out of commission, and used to be that the postal carriages were running daily on this trail, and then changing the horses at the end of the road at Acquarosa. Of course, now we don't have postal carriages, but the post buses actually that replace them are the main means of public transportation across Switzerland, especially in these rural communities. So the tradition goes on, and actually the Swiss Post has a super good quality of service. So internal shipping and freight is all handled by Swiss Post. Delivery as well, so we don't really use this big US companies like FedEx, UPS or DHL, but rather the Swiss Post that also operates these commuter buses, and it's a very innovative company. I mean, they also introduced in some of these mountain communities self-driving electric buses, so it's actually a very convenient way to go around. I'm a very big fan of the Postbus and of the Post. And here another interesting point of point of interest, which is a military unit. Switzerland has its own military, even though we are a neutral country. We do operate a very serious military, and every young man is actually required to undergo military training after they complete military training. Young recruits are allowed to take their weapon, the automatic weapon, at home, and actually are required to continuously train and practice their shooting skills. And this actually makes Switzerland one of the most weaponized countries in the world, even though we are neutral and we're very peaceful, not aligned with any of the military blocs. To the 8 million people, 8.5 million people that inhabit Switzerland, there are more than 6 million guns. And this is a very good thing. It's like a guarantee of our democracy, our direct democracy. Of course, Switzerland, probably the most democratic state in the world. I mean, we're voting regularly every quarter for at least 3-4 local, cantonal, and federal laws. That makes us participating in actually the political system. The political system is owned by the people. So here we see these G-wagons, the military ones. Of course, everything in Switzerland, also the military, has to be of very good quality. You see how well everything is parked, maintained here in absolute perfect shape. Of course, there is an attack, especially by this let's say more globalist movements that also feel their presence here in Switzerland on these traditional institutions like the army, the police, and a push towards joining these globalist organizations like the European Union. But there is a natural resistance from the let's say base of the population, and especially from these communities like this one here, which are much more conservative, the rural communities, rather than the urban ones, which are definitely more left-leaning. I think in the end, what is very nice in Switzerland is that the balance is found, and then there's this culture of compromise, and it's a very grassroots type of decision-making process. So here we are in the city center, main square of Aqua Rossa, the main city in the Val di Blenio. It's a thermal spa resort. It lost a bit of the tourism that it was seeing in its peak, which was I think in the beginning of the 20th century, but still there is a very big tourism activity here. Also, up in the mountain there is a little ski resort called Nari. I have never been there, but as you can see, even though we are here in the south of Switzerland and it's the end of April, the end of March, there's still a lot of snow in the peaks, and as we look north, even more. So I have seen on the webcam that there's still slopes open up. I haven't been because especially when it's so pleasant here in the valley, you don't really want to start carrying your ski gear, going up, sweating, skiing on snow that the end of the day becomes more slushy. So I just prefer to enjoy the spring, and definitely as you walk here you just hear birds all around, and you see these flowers blossoming. Another interesting thing here, As you can see, there are a lot of these evergreen trees. The flora changes, so we have the palm trees here. There's also ficus trees. I don't really know the English names of these trees to tell you, but magnolias that are blossoming. It's very nice spring this year. And here another fine example of this uh, late 18th century villa architecture. There is a lot of such buildings here with a garden. Of course, a lot of holiday homes also here. There's actually a lot of interest in having a holiday home here because the climate is very mild. It's the mildest compared to the rest of the Swiss cantons, and this thing definitely created this incentive of people buying holiday homes in this region. It's very nice. So I'm walking now towards the broadest part of the valley. I'm already in the median Blenio Valley, walking through a forest now. I'm here crossing towards the part of the valley which is mostly used for farming. And let me see, as I get out of the forest, I'm gonna try to capture a panorama. So I'm walking now towards the farmland area of the Blenio Valley, very broad meadows where these beautiful cows are grazing the whole day. Seems that they're very peaceful. They also have their offspring there. It's very tasty milk and dairy products coming from this region. And to my left you can see a creek. This creek actually is coming from hydroelectric power plants and reservoirs up the mountains. The entire valley is a gathering place for all these creeks coming from the glacier sources and the reservoirs up the mountain. So from this point I think we have one of the most beautiful panoramas, 360s of the entire valley. So as we're looking now towards the north, we're seeing the snow-covered peaks of the central Swiss Alps. That peak in particular that is prominent is about 3,000 meters, and there is a mountain pass connecting this southern Switzerland to Canton Graubünden and Canton Uri on the other side of those mountains, but probably closed at this point. It goes all the way up to 2,400 meters. To our left here we see the Leopoldine Alps, another group of Swiss Alps, under which actually the entire Gotthard base tunnel runs with a length of 60 kilometers. And to our left another group of the Leopoldine Alps. And as you can see, as we're looking now towards the south, the northern faces of the mountains are much more covered in snow at this point in the year. It's snow mostly resting on the northern faces. The southern faces, like the ones we're looking towards, start to green up and melt the snow. So I'm gonna get closer to these farms here, show you a typical Swiss mountain farm with as you can see all this agricultural equipment, very good condition, very good shape. So here we're on the road towards the Nari skiing area, and already the atmosphere changed. Uh, the green pastures from below the valley uh, were replaced by these forests, and we can see there the birch trees and this very beautiful stone church typical of the region, and snowy peaks up. So let's see. I'm really curious um, what will be the atmosphere there up. So I'm gonna report back once I get there. And here, just enjoying the panorama of the Middle Blenio Valley. Uh, Already, I think we're now at around 700 meters, with the base there about 300 meters. It's very beautiful. So here our road took us to this imposing church overlooking the Valley of Blenio. I read on the touristic information panel that this church dates all the way back to the 1200s. Unfortunately, it's closed inside, so I won't be able to show the interior, but it's adorned with frescoes depicting the life of Jesus Christ. Very beautiful paintings and frescoes dating from the Renaissance and pre-Renaissance times. And here over this gorge, this very beautiful hanging suspended bridge, which was built about 15 years ago to facilitate the access from the base station to this church, which otherwise would have had to be reached over this very steep gorge, preventing access for untrained and elderly people. Again, a very beautiful engineering work here, typical of the Swiss Alps. And here a panorama from the suspended bridge of the medieval church. So here we are at the base station of the Nara region, and as you can see, the base cable car doesn't work today. It's probably closed already for this season. It was quite a dry winter, unusually dry and warm. And since we're here at 900 meters and also in the southernmost part of Switzerland, it doesn't surprise me that this lower section is closed. I was looking here at the map of the ski resort, and there is another intermediate station at 1,400 meters, and then the top one at 2,000 meters, which I believe they're still open. But in order to get there, I either have to go on foot or take the bus. I don't really have any more the energy to go on foot because I started my ascent all the way there down in the valley where you can see that little patch of green. So probably I already walked around 20 kilometers. So I'm gonna go and check the bus schedule and see if I can go a bit higher. I was hoping that from this point I could take the cable car, but unfortunately it's not the case. It's already noon, and I see that the sky is no longer so cloudless as it was yesterday and this morning. And it seems that tomorrow morning it will start rain, and then throughout the next week there are also snowfalls announced. So I'm just gonna head now towards the bus station and see if I can get higher. So I decided to continue my walk on foot because the bus service is interrupted, and I reached here intermediate spot with a little chapel, and I'm part of a theme tour that follows the heroes of local novel hero about this region that is called Leontica. And it's very interesting because at various spots on the trail there are fragments of on panels, fragments of this novel that you can read, and written in a very literary, artistic form that evokes the lives of a couple living in this region, of a young couple. So it's sort of connects you to the people of the place and their thoughts, their dreams, their lives. It's very, very beautiful. And also a bit now the weather as I go up changes a bit. It becomes a bit colder. I'm not yet at the level of snow. Probably I still have to hike about maybe 200 meters to reach the snow line, and I just made it for myself as the target, so I'm not gonna go higher than that because it's still mountains and the weather can change at any point, and since it's a bit unstable today, I don't want to risk. I'm not really equipped for a mountain hike, but this is very, very pleasant, and I haven't encountered anybody on the road. It's probably one of the most peaceful places that I have ever walked here in Switzerland. Just amazing, this Val di Blenio. So I'm arriving here already at 1200 meters on my way up to the middle station, and I reached the snow line. It's still very little, but I can definitely declare my mission accomplished. Uh, I think I'm gonna go still up a bit, maybe 50 meters from a vista point where I can show you a panorama of this whole valley. But already uh, to my left here, facing north, we can see uh, the last patches of snow. Spring, it's where spring meets winter. It's always very pleasant, and then there's always these little creeks that carry the melting snow. Very pleasant to hear them. And let's go a bit another 50 meters maybe of altitude. So we are here at 3,600 feet for the ones who are using the imperial system, and still very, very pleasant. And here we can see the line from the cable car that we saw a bit earlier in the video, right now out of service. So here I am at the end point of my of my ascent. It's no particular point here or peak. It's just the intermediate vista point with a 360 panorama just above where the snow ends. I don't really have the energy to go further up. Always when you're in the mountains, there's always this temptation to say I'm gonna go a bit more, but it can easily increase without you realizing how much more you still have to go. So I'm here at maybe 1,300 meters, but the mountains around me go all the way up to 3,000, so I'm not even halfway. And I'm gonna call it quits now. I've made more than 30,000 steps today, which I'm very proud of, and I didn't actually even get the chance to eat anything. I just had a beer because I found a little town at the middle, this Leontica, but the restaurant was still closed. The kitchen was still closed, so I had to take the uh, let's say liquid bread, how the Germans call it, Flüssigbrot, and it gave me a bit of boost of energy to come all the way up here. And now I'm gonna go slowly down. Also, going up now wouldn't really be wise because once I arrive there, because the ski resort is closed, I assume so. I looked at the webcam and I couldn't really tell, but I didn't see much movement there. I'm not gonna be able to have any connection or any lunch there. Even now I'm thirsty, and I think I'm gonna just get some water from one of these creeks here. So I'm heading now back down all the way in the valley, and I'm gonna maybe record a few more segments on my way down. Good morning, it's Saturday, and I'm still here in the Val di Blenio. I'm I came down a bit from the medium part of the valley to the lower valley, closer to the main city of Biasca, which is at the entrance in this valley. And today the weather is a bit mixed. There's a bit of a chance of rain, so I'm sticking a bit with the lower, more connected parts rather than going high in the mountains. And I also wanted to show a bit here. This is a bit the more, so to say, industrial part, more populated. But as you can see right behind me, a very beautiful villa. Let me try to capture it. I'm gonna flip a bit the camera so you can see also a bit this type of architecture, more specific to the southern part. This is a regular occurrence here in the south of Switzerland. These trees, I don't know really what exactly is the species of these trees, but they're always full of these flower blossoms. And it seems that we're already almost past their peak season, even though it's only the 29th of March. Their leaves started to fall. So here we're walking through the little town of Malvalia, and I saw a sign for a cable car. And actually, as I was walking down here from my hotel in the middle of the valley, I saw a few people with ski touring gear trying to gear up, which leads me to believe that this cable car that I have seen must go quite high, and I see maybe I can find it and check it out, and then go climb up in this more comfortable way rather than the hiking way that I took yesterday. So it seems we were not lucky with the cable car. I just saw a sign that it is closed, service is closed. So it should have taken us here towards the right and all the way up to this mountain, but probably because of the already spring service times, it's already closed. Here in the valley we see the Brenno River, and here we have a small perspective of the Brenno River, 40 kilometers long, going down, flowing down. I noticed actually signs with fishing forbidden, so it seems that it also has some fish inside it. I always wondered where these mountain rivers get their fish from. Maybe there are some that are swimming upstream to lay their eggs, some salmon. Couldn't really tell. And next to it you can see vineyards. Because of the quite sunny weather and very warm climate in this region, this is also a wine region, especially the Pinot Noir. So that means red wine. Doesn't mean red wine, but it is a red wine of Ticino, also being produced here. It's a very tasty wine, not in large quantities, but very good quality. So here, going right to these vineyards, is this place that I was telling earlier about. There is an old fortification up the hill there. We're gonna come close to it. And this is a very specific type of medieval building to this area. It's actually also called the regions of the castles, this part around Bellinzona in the upper Ticino. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site that comprises of all these castles sprinkled along the valleys, and they were serving actually military purposes. So the north of the valley obviously is being protected by the very tall chain of Central Alps, very hard to climb, so there weren't really dangers coming from the north side. But going towards the south side, it's actually the plains of northern Italy, the famous Mediolanum, the Roman name of these plains, the plain of the river Po. And very powerful Lombardia. Lombardia, historical independent kingdom of Italy, now of course part of Italy and still being the most powerful economically region of Italy, with its capital in Milano, not very far away from here, maybe 120 kilometers. And of course the Lombards were regularly coming and plundering towards the north, these communities. So each valley had such outposts right at the entrance to the valleys to guard, defend, observe these incursions of the Lombards. And also along the valley there are some hideouts for people really built in stone. So I didn't get a chance to film one of them, but also in the back of these forests there were hiding places for such incursions. At some point very early in the Swiss history, Lombardia was actually ruling over these territories that are now Swiss, but quite early in the time of the Swiss Confederacy, Ticino freed itself from the Lombard rule. Here we have these very funny mountain goats. Let's see how I can get closer to the ruins. So it seems that the ascent to the castle complex here is done through the backyard of this farm. It's very interesting that there's also some tree or vineyard there. Very interesting mix of this farmland here combined with these old ruins that are actually in very good shape. So everything might seem you know, old, but it's not run down. It just has underwent this type of renovation or preservation, better said, work. There's no you know, trash, graffitis, squatters, things like that here. Everything is conserving just the character. They didn't really try to rebuild here in Bellinzona, another center of this region that is also part of this Regione dei Castelli. More significant reconstruction work has been done to the castles, but here to this particular one it's more the ruin conservation rather than restoration work being done. So I'm gonna try to head out on the stairs, and I'm gonna stop filming because I'm gonna be short of breath, and then try to film from within the fortress. So here, just to highlight what I meant about the preservation work, as you can see here, the roof and this water pipe have been fully upgraded. The wall itself, you have seen, has some newer concrete inserts to consolidate. So you can see here this new part, and as we're going towards the entrance here, this is actually a little chapel of this fortification. The beautiful painting over there, unfortunately inaccessible. And as you can see here, the wind is blowing very strongly. This was strategically placed really in the couloir, in the center of this valley. That's why it's being exposed, because all the wind is channeled through the valley. It's almost like a funnel here. This geographical placement also indicates like the military strategic placement of these fortifications. So as we're walking here through the peak of the fortress, I cannot help being reminded of a novel by a famous Italian novelist, Dino Buzzati, which is called Il deserto dei Tartari, which means the Tatar desert. uh, a novel set in a undefined historical time in a place very similar to this, an outpost of an army uh, defending the outskirts of an empire. So something that also this region evokes. So I think with this little trip to the fortress, I'm also gonna conclude my video for these 2 days. I hope you guys enjoy this little trip into this unknown and remote part of Switzerland, full of culture and heritage and natural beauty. And I hope I'm gonna be able to see you soon in other interesting places. And thank you very much for following my channel, and hope to see you soon.